smart cities with Earth observation and, in our case, artificial intelligence. I would like to briefly tell you a bit about our context. We are a company founded in 2016, so still relatively young, based in Rotterdam. We have a focus on sustainability in everything that we do, in a very broad sense of the word. This means we are involved in energy, circularity, nature, so a lot of topics relevant for smart cities as well. And we work with remote sensing data. We started explicitly with Earth observation data, but by now we are working with all kinds of remote sensing data in greenhouses, in public environment, but still from above as well. And typically we have deep learning algorithms to sift through all this data and to find the right information that we need within the context of our service or solution. I wanted to tell you about a couple of different solutions that we offer in the domain of smart cities. The first of which is the optimal use of urban space regarding rooftops. So of course, there is a huge push towards sustainability in the energy sector in the Netherlands, but also a limited amount of space. And one of the best places to put, for example, solar panels is on rooftops, because it's a multifunctional use of otherwise potentially wasted space. And what we do here is what we have is a solution where we have, for a large part of the Netherlands, over 100 municipalities by now, basically a map of all the roofs in cities or in provinces. And for each roof, we analyze if there are solar panels already or not, and if there's potential for solar panels based on 3D analyses. And this gives municipalities insight into the current status, but also the potential, and helps them formulate policy and also monitor this. And this way we help over 100 municipalities towards further defining their regional energy strategy goals, and to actually being able to execute them and follow up on them. You see an example of a neighborhood in Rotterdam here. And of course, solar panels are not the only thing that you can imagine on a rooftop. There are also other multifunctional uses, such as green roofs and water roofs, water retention. This is all part of our solution. Second, in the theme of optimal use of urban space, is solar carports. Compared to solar on roof, this is a super young market, but already a market that is gaining significant traction. We noticed that a lot of governments are trying to realize solar carports within their municipality or region. And what we have developed for this is a tool where we first localize all the parking lots within a region. This seems trivial, but there is typically not one source where GIS information on parking lots is available, because the owners are all different, and a lot of open source tools or sources are not complete. So we gather all this information on the map of all parking lots within a city. We do a shadow analysis on each parking lot individually, and based on that, we're able to develop a business case that incorporates all the rules and tariffs about solar carports. So here we see an example of a carport in Rotterdam, Blijdorpplaan, and with this tool, we're able to not only show all the parking lots on a map, but also calculate the business case for a solar carport, including all of the specifics that you might not think of if you are, for example, the owner of a theme park and you would like to realize a solar carport on your parking lot. You don't know where to start, and this brings it all together. The third application I'd like to introduce you to is digital tree management. Holland is super advanced when it comes to thinking long and hard about every square meter in the country, which includes trees and management of trees. Almost all trees are in the city limit have to be inspected yearly. not only in relation to health, but also in relation to safety regarding overhanging tree branches on cycling roads, etc. So using LiDAR data from the ground, we do automated tree detection. We measure everything that needs to be measured for their health and for registration purposes. But using this information, we are also able to quantify ecological impact like biodiversity, water retention, impact on shade and urban heating effects, and all these different factors. And this is all integrated within the workflow of tree management in the Netherlands. So we have multi-year contracts with a company that performs this for different cities. And we're also looking to expand at least part of this approach to other countries to see if we can integrate some of the developments from the Netherlands within other countries who typically are a lot less far in terms of the requirements for digital tree management. And lastly, what we have been working on for a couple of years now is nature monitoring with Earth observation and AI. Also here, there is quite a strict framework in the Netherlands about which type of nature should be developed where. And this also relates somewhat loosely to the EU governance of nature areas, which is called the Natura 2000 network. And here, using aerial photography and satellite data, we are able to roughly classify lots of different types of nature areas and monitor changes in drought, changes in increase or decrease in certain types. And this way also help regarding policy and effectuation of policy measures on a large scale. With that, I'd like to end this presentation. I hope this was somewhat clear in the 5 minutes, but of course open to questions. And also you can always get in touch later to speak more to me about potential collaborations.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Otto. This was very clear and very much on the topic of climate neutral and smart cities. While we're waiting for questions in the chat, and please ask your questions in the chat so we can pass them to Otto, but I had a few questions myself. First of all these examples that you show us are Dutch. Does it mean that Sobolt works mostly in the Netherlands, or are some of these projects international as well?
That's a great question. I think I touched upon, for tree management, I touched upon this being Dutch, and we are actively looking to integrate this in other countries. The same goes for our solar city planning solutions. Also there, we noticed that this is particularly because of the space requirements in the Netherlands. We are a little bit ahead in terms of city planning regarding solar and integrating this in public policy, whereas in other countries, sometimes it's really easy to just realize large solar fields. But the short answer is we're a young Dutch company. We have a network in the Netherlands. We think we have some solutions that would benefit greatly, that some other countries would benefit greatly from too. We have ambitions of participating in Horizon 2020 calls. Or what's the new name of the new framework?
Horizon Europe. Yeah.
Horizon Europe. Thank you. Horizon Europe calls. We have some experience in joining consortia there as well. Currently mostly in the Netherlands with some pilot projects abroad, but looking to expand.
Yeah, because especially those parking lots, I associate that with like Mediterranean countries, southern countries where it's much warmer, where they have covered parking lots already, just not equipped with solar panels.
Yeah, of course, we don't even have that much sun, and you can get about 1.5 times the yield in the Mediterranean. So
that's amazing. Just a few questions that I always think of personally. These parking lot solar panels, are they connected to like a charging grid for cars that are parked underneath, for electric cars?
Yeah, it's quite attractive to offer charging points or fast charging points at a carport, but it depends on a lot of external factors. Like, for example, if you're realizing this at a supermarket, it might be very attractive for customers to come there by car, park there for half an hour, recharge their car while they're shopping, and leave again. So that can definitely be a good part of a business model.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I assume that's not all what you do. You mentioned this website, parkthesun.com. Is that a partner that you work with, or is that something Sobolt developed themselves?
It's something we developed in collaboration with the province of North Holland in the Netherlands, and that's something that we have been expanding across the Netherlands, helping governments try to basically kickstart the solar carport market.
Okay. Yeah, and I was wondering something similar. I saw the trees the tree monitoring that you do. Is Sobolt involved in this bomenregister.nl, this tree register.nl? I mean, I use that often in talks about urban applications. Is that something you're involved in?
As far as I know, this is independent from Tree Tracker. We are working closely with, we have been developing this with Bomenwacht, who are a large tree management company that perform a lot of contracts for cities. And the boom inspectors are a party who regularly use Tree Tracker for their tree assessments, as more or less a part of larger tree management efforts.
Okay, okay, excellent. I'm gonna, as my last question, I'm gonna ask you the same question that I asked Ron, and you partly answered that already, but how interested, well, first of all, how involved and how interested is Sobolt to be involved in more of these types of space calls in Horizon Europe?
Yeah, like I said, indeed, we have been involved in the future. Recently, we have had a renewed ambition to be part of a successful consortium here. I think even on the short term, we'd be very happy to talk about the different directions we can take. And we're right now we're setting up new efforts to get this off the ground.